is a civilization, or for purposes of a simpler discussion, how is a city born and formed? Us modern-day humans are too busy doing, rushing, or ruminating about our existential problems that there is no room to stop and ask questions where this or that came from. A lot of how we are today was formed by how our civilization was born hundreds, maybe even thousands of years ago. A civilization, in whatever culture, in whatever continent or country, is formed and born almost always along a body of water. Consider Rome, for example. Rome is a city with tales of emperors and Caesars, of gladiators, and of early global conquests. Rome is along the very majestic Tiber River. The Tiber River has been mentioned in many historical events and dramas. The son of the most vilified pope, Pope Alexander VI, the only Spanish pope in history, his son Juan Borgia was fished out of the Tiber with 9 or so stab wounds. A crime never solved. Ancient Rome began as a small settlement in the middle of the Italian peninsula. Legend has it that Rome was discovered by the two brothers, Romulus and Remus, who were infants, abandoned on the waters of the Tiber River, only to be found rescued and mothered by the she-wolf Lupa. Then and now, Rome remains to be one of the most visited and iconic cities, old but intensely historied.
This happened in March 1938. The costliest, the biggest, the deadliest calamity that hit Los Angeles. It was so bad, it was fueled by 2 Pacific storms, and it was considered a 50-year storm. It killed 113 to 115 people. It devastated, wiped out 1,500 homes. It destroyed bridges. It eroded banks. Because of this, Los Angeles had to enlist the help of the government, a corps of engineers. Whether it was right or wrong is another discussion, but they poured concrete over the river from beginning till end, and that started the end of the Los Angeles River.
But let us talk about the history so we will understand how LA cuisine came to be. In 1769, the Spanish king sent sea expeditions headed by Gaspar de Portola because they discovered gold in California, which by then was just a barren desert. Wealth was the motivator. It then follows that the Mexicans, led by the pobladores, the 44 original settlers from Sinaloa, Mexico, and 4 soldiers founded Los Angeles in 1781. With them came the Mexican cuisine, which is so popular in Los Angeles. The first major wave of Asian immigration to the continental United States occurred primarily on the West Coast during the California Gold Rush starting in the 1850s. The first Asian were the Chinese. Whereas only 400 Chinese migrated in 1848, the migration wave soared to 25,000 in 1850, and since then, there has been a steady flow of Asians through the years. Before World War II, the Japanese had already migrated to the US and in fact incarcerated during the war. After World War II came the Filipinos, definitely, as they fought for the Americans during the war. Now, let us consider the River La Seine of Paris, for example. Why is Paris along La Seine? I know not of dramatic stories about the La Seine River, but La Seine is one of the most romantic places in the world, and there is no explanation for it. It is at the La Seine where one will behold the most spectacular of sunsets and sunrises. But it will behoove you to notice that if you question the origin of civilizations, that the famous and iconic Louvre, the museum that houses Mona Lisa, The venue of many, many movies is along the Seine River. It is important to note that the Louvre was once the home of the kings of France until King Louis XIV built the majestic Palace Versailles. The iconic Cathedral Notre Dame of Paris is also along the River La Seine. So the city of Paris is essentially along the River La Seine. So why is that? Why are these major cities along a river? It is very simple. Thousands of years ago, civilizations were formed along a body of water, as in a river. Because it is the source of fresh water, and we have to drink water, it is the source of fish, a place to bathe, a place to wash clothes, and later on, the source of irrigation for farming. And finally, as the civilization grows, the river becomes the center of trade and commerce, even in defense of or to fight off a war.
A lot of Filipino cuisine is cooked for many hours. Stewing, boiling, steaming, or Filipino cuisine entails a lot of chopping, and more chopping. Recipes, as most of complex ethnic cuisines, are passed on from great-grandmas to me, to my second-generation children. Even my second-generation children prefer In-N-Out burgers or pasta to Filipino cooking, as it is indeed very tedious. I once drafted a recipe of Filipino pancit, a noodle dish. When I cook pancit, I just chop, saute, chop, add a dash of salt, pepper, boil, then mix. Easy. But when I drafted the recipe, it took close to 3 pages. Hungry yet? Okay, after this video, rush, cook your favorite dish. Rush to the nearest ramen or pupusas or taco restaurant. Take out or outdoor dining. Let me know what you think of the cuisine of diversity.